The following is a production of Learfield Sports.
Fall is officially here and we are ready to go. It's time for a new episode of the UMass Sports Insider. With the weather changing, that means it's time for hockey season to get underway. Today we look back at last season as well as get ready for 2018-19. Plus, several UMass players spend time with NHL Development Camps over the summer to prepare for the new season. Then we meet a quarterback, Michael Curtis, whose journey to UMass has been winding, and then spend some time catching up with a UMass Hoops legend. Finally, we head back to Mullins for a behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to get ready for hockey season. So grab a cup of cider and some pumpkin pie. It's time for UMass Sports Insider right now. Hi there, welcome into UMass Sports Insider. It's our hockey season preview edition of the program, and I'm your host, Josh Maurer. Well, fall is in the air, hockey season is getting underway, and last season for Coach Carville and company, things ended on a big-time up note, bringing some heightened expectations into 2018-19. So let's take a sneak peek back at the end of last campaign and a preview of what to expect for this year.
The word that's being used in our department is momentum, and we feel it's a hockey program exemplifies that as much as any program. The way the season ended last year with Mullins close to full, the team playing very well, sent all of us home over the summer. Very excited for the possibilities for this year, and I give our guys a lot of credit. We've come out, we've practiced at a good standard. I think we're going to be ready, and I think we're going to be a pretty polished product when we get out there. You know, that freshman class last year was so key in helping us turn things around, and the thing that I love to see is how that group has matured so much in one short year. They've matured a lot mentally, and how they carry themselves and how they're leading this team. It's really that whole group, that whole class. It's so deep. You have Nico as our captain, he's got the veteran experience. He's the most vocal. He really lives his life off the ice the way we want our guys to. So he's a guy that leads by example, both vocally and by actions. Mario is an action guy. He does everything at the highest level. His intensity, his focus is something that we want our guys to follow. And then Kale is the quiet guy, but that really, when you're in the middle of the fire, that's when his leadership really comes out. He's a fierce competitor, but he's not overly vocal. But when it's time to get in the foxhole with him, he's a guy you want to be there with. You know, 4 defensemen, 3 forwards, and a goalie, and they're all going to add to the depth of our team that we were kind of lacking last year. So we'll be deeper in every position, and that's a good sign for our program. They're freshmen on the ice, but off of the ice, they're beyond that. You can tell it's a group that's quickly going to catch on. I think the strength is that we come into this year with less unknowns than we have. You know, the first 2 years it was always kind of let's wait and see what we have here. And this year we have a good understanding of what our identity is. There's no question of what our standards are, what expectations are. We have the best leadership we've had in the 3 years, the best depth of our team. We have an identity that we want to play to, and we feel that we're at our best when we really play that identity. And my hope is at the end of the game, the opposing coach recognizes that identity by the way we play.
Well, to get ready for this upcoming season, UMass had 8 players take part in NHL developmental camps this past summer. UMass has also had 4 players who were drafted by NHL teams, including Cale Makar, who was the highest ever draft pick for UMass player, having been taken number 4 overall by the Colorado Avalanche.
I'm Philip Laganov, and I was at the Boston Bruins Development Camp.
Mitchell Chafee, and I was with the Pittsburgh Penguins Development Camp.
John Leonard, and I attended the San Jose Sharks camp.
I'm Ivan Chukrov. I was with the Buffalo Sabres Development Camp.
Cale Makar, and I went to Colorado Avalanche Development Camp.
Zed Farmer, and I attended the Minnesota Wild Development Camp.
Jake McLaughlin, Chicago Blackhawks Development Camp.
I'm Mario Ferraro. I attended the San Jose Sharks Development Camp this summer.
The first time I stepped on the ice, I had to take a few deep breaths to kind of take everything in. It's almost hard to believe, obviously. It's every kid's dream to have that NHL jersey on at some point, even though if it's not a game, even a development camp. It's a special moment, and I just try to take it all in. I thought it was kind of special since it's almost like being a neighbor, being able to go to a team that's so close by, especially an Original Six team. It was a great experience. Being able to see some of the fans, maybe from UMass, at the camp.
I don't think there was like a certain moment or anything. I think it was just kind of the whole experience that, was really helpful for me. And, you got to kind of understood what it takes to get to the next level, and you got to see the facilities and the workout programs and the rinks and stuff like that. So overall, it was just a really cool experience, and I got a lot out of it.
Every year, there's something new that I take away from them that I can bring here to UMass, or there's certain drills or a certain attitude. But being a vet, every summer I go there, it's cool to see the new products that they come in, and especially this year, I felt like I was kind of more of a leader in that aspect, kind of trying to help the kids with the drills that I kind of knew from previous years. So I enjoyed every minute of it this year.
Great experience, not only to wear the Penguins gear, but just to be out there with all some of the best players. Not only that, but you're meeting their coaching staff and the whole organization, from players on the Penguins, just everyone down from that. So it was really cool.
It was really special. I think just throughout my whole life, just constantly envying the Blackhawks and going to games my whole life. I'd wear a bunch of apparel each and every day, so being able to go there and actually attend their development camp was something special for me. I think it's just surreal. Once I was on the ice, I felt like a new player. Honestly, I felt like I could do other things that I couldn't normally do. So I'd like to think that I play up to my competition. So putting it on really made me feel like a different player as a whole.
It's really special. It's something obviously you grow up thinking about, dreaming about. But my first scrimmage, just kind of be at that stage and see like that caliber of players. But I just remember thinking in my head, like, you belong here. This is what you need to do.
It's an honor. Every time I put that jersey on, it's still a dream of mine. I'm not there yet. So it's an honor to hold that jersey and to wear that on my chest. I know it's development camp, and I still got ways to go in order to be a part of the San Jose Sharks organization, but at the end of the day, I'm very privileged. I'm very honored to be selected by the San Jose Sharks, knowing that they trust in my ability to hopefully one day play in the NHL. So I take advantage of that opportunity, and I treat it like it's the first every single time. Every time I put that jersey on, I wear it with pride, and I work as hard as I can.
It was pretty special just being able to pull it over your head. Obviously, just an emotional time in general, being my first year a couple of years ago, having been drafted there, and just being able to go to camp and see and meet all the great guys and be able to finally step on the ice with them was pretty cool. Coming into this year, having so many guys with the experience is special. I think them knowing what to expect now, either going to the next camp or coming back with the anticipation of what they have and the speed that they saw at that camp is some really great experience that we have coming in, and I think we have to utilize that and use it to our advantage.
We are really excited to see Coach Carville's team on the ice at the beginning of this 2018-19 season. Well, it's time for us to take a quick break, but don't go far away. On UMass Sports Insider, we're coming back with an amazing journey for Michael Curtis in his football career. Plus, we catch up with a UMass Hoops legend. Don't go away.
The Learfield Directors Cup, the highly recognized mark of distinction in college athletics across all divisions, both men's and women's sports. Follow your favorite team's pursuit for excellence in this prestigious annual award through thedirectorscup.com, USA Today, or at L Directors Cup on Twitter or Facebook. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics since 1993.
Welcome back here on UMass Sports Insider, and now at McGurk Alumni Stadium, the home of the UMass football team, where recently quarterback Michael Curtis had a performance the stuff of which legends are made when he moved from third string into the starting lineup to lead UMass to a victory against Charlotte. More impressive than the effort that day, though, has been Michael's journey to UMass. He has combined a high level of academics as well as athletics.
In my mind, I thought the path would end up being in the Ivy League and playing football there, and within a few days I had to make the decision if I wanted to stop playing football and just go to a college somewhere, and I ended up taking the route of going to a junior college, which was Trinity Valley, which is in Athens, Texas.
We were looking for a quarterback at the time. Mike had done some really good things at Trinity Valley. We saw him before the mid-year and the recruiting process, went and saw him, and from there he liked the idea of coming to UMass. He liked the system we ran.
Even going back to when I was little, that was always the goal, to be a Division I quarterback. I talked with my brother and we just kind of sat down and hashed it out and realized that chase the dream of being the Division I quarterback that you want to be, and so that's the pathway that I chose. Now being able to play in these huge stages like Big EC, and then just last week against Charlotte and even against FIU, it definitely means the world. And you always want to come out on top and win and out every single game, but just to definitely be able to get my feet wet in that BC game, and as well as getting more experience in the FIU game, helped me a lot and meant a lot for coming into the Charlotte game this past weekend.
He's a very curious guy, and I think that goes back to him being so smart and him wanted to be perfect, and not only in the football world but also outside in the classroom. His 4.0 GPA, studied the defense, he knew our game plan, he played well within the game plan, but then going back he made a lot of great plays, extending some plays with his feet and his athleticism to give us some first downs and score some touchdowns.
I like to say, given that I did play in junior college and we did play in a lot of what we considered big games, they weren't primetime television or anything, big games and have monumental impacts for our season. I'd already felt that pressure before, and so it wasn't this past week. It was just, do your job, handle your business, you're prepared to do it, go out there and have fun. I didn't have any jitters, I was just more excited than anything, just get out there and get hit, throw the ball, run the ball, things like that.
And you become more and more seasoned as you go with each play, positive or negative, and so he can take from those plays in FIU and line up against Charlotte and have that in the back of his head and be able to do something different. He was able to take some of that from FIU, and then also certain plays during the Charlotte game, or even things that happened in the first half, he was able to respond and do some things in the second half adjustment-wise. And so that was impressive to see by him, just the fact that he was able to play through certain situations and then also verbalize what he was seeing just every play, and then take that to the next series he was out there, just for a guy who's just started his first game here with us.
Honestly, the growth I've seen in myself since I first came to UMass about 1.5 years ago has been monumental. Kind of looking into myself and kind of realizing what it is I wanted to get out of it and how much work I wanted to put in over the off seasons and during spring football, and sitting there and really diving into learning the playbook and getting to know the players more and understanding Coach Whip's trying to get out of the offense. And as going into this season, I felt really confident that I finally understood what it was we were trying to do on offense and the playbook and the intricacies of reading defenses and coverages and things like that. And then as the season progressed, with going into BC, it was my first time stepping foot on the field. I actually had to throw the ball and get up and get in the huddle and different things like that. It's been fun to progress and go from a couple drives to an entire half at FIU to then having an entire game at Charlotte. And it's every week is about getting better. I think every player, that's their goal, is to understand what mistakes did you make, what did you do good, and how can you then build off that next week and put out a better product than you did before.
Hard not to root for a kid like Michael Curtis, who showed that he could take advantage of life opportunities with a story of perseverance. Well, we move from that legendary performance to one of our all-time basketball legends. Recently, Chaz Williams stopped by the Champion Center to meet with the current group of Minutemen, and we were able to catch up with the former UMass diminutive point guard.
Into line, and he's blocked by the smallest guy on the court, Chaz Williams.
It's a little surreal, to be here. When I first got here, and the only pictures you saw on the wall was Dr. J, Lou Rowe, Marcus Camby, Derek Kellogg, Ricky Harris and stuff like that, and now see my face up there, it's like pretty surreal. We worked hard, while I was here, we worked hard. We didn't see it to happen. I didn't see it to happen this way, but, it's a beautiful blessing, and I'm honored. Once I came here, I fell in love. Transferring from a smaller school in New York, Hofstra University, I just fell in love with the big campus. What the coaches had to offer me at the time, it was wonderful. They just kept it real with me. So, I just wanted to go with it, and it felt genuine.
The lane up to Williams. He's running to the rim. Scoops it up. Off the glass and in. What a shot.
But just to say the least, has to be VCU game and the St. Louis game my senior year. Both my senior year. That VCU game was pretty sick. 30 minutes into warm-ups, the arena was full already. You got guys waving the banners, the towels. And then also the St. Louis game, which was senior night, if I'm not mistaken. Once again, it was a sold-out venue. The fans showed great support, and it was just fun. It was just the whole experience, the college basketball atmosphere, and just to have UMass all together again. It's a great experience. It's pretty fun. It's culture shock, but you adjust pretty fast depending on who you are and where you're from. But it's a beautiful experience. Seeing the other side of the world and seeing how people live and going with their daily lives, it's pretty amazing. Everything, the rules, the style of play, the guys out there, they teach fundamentals all the way to the basics. And in Europe, you could knock the ball off the rim. So, here, you can shoot a free throw and it sit on the rim all day and you'll watch it. But in Europe, if it's on the rim, you can snap it out. Best time of my life, honestly speaking. I got to meet some of the best people in the world. People I didn't know at all are now like my closest friends. It was like a roller coaster and the best time of my life, honestly. Right now, I'm just working out, hit deals overseas, but for now, I'm just thinking about staying local in the States this year, pursue the NBA again, and just weigh my options.
Thank you, Chaz. Truly one of UMass's all-time greats, and it is fitting to see his image overlooking the court at the brand new Champion Center. Well, time for us to step aside again for just a few, but when we come back, we take you on a behind-the-scenes tour to see what goes into installing the ice sheet at the Mullins Center as we get ready for hockey season. That and more when we come back. Looking lob, McLean caught into the lane and dunked it in! Pitkins got it back, and Pitkins puts it in!
On this stage, under these bright lights, the Atlantic 10 Men's Basketball Championship returns. 14 teams, 1 trophy.
Welcome back to the show and to the Mullins Center. Well, before every hockey season, people behind the scenes are doing everything from getting the concession stands to the seats ready to host some of the best fans in Hockey East. But one thing that you, the fan, doesn't usually get to see is what they do to get the ice sheet ready right behind me. So let's take a behind-the-scenes sneak peek and look at the process.
The first day consists primarily of painting, and then the subsequent 3 days are mostly building up thin layers at a time to get it to the thickness that we need. The first day is a crew of about 10 people, and we start by laying down a thin coat of just cold water as acts as a primer coat to lay the white on. We don't want to lay the white paint directly on the concrete. So we'll do a primer coat, and then we'll do about 5 coats of white paint, and we spray it out of this long, what we call a boom wand. We make sure we get, good coverage of the white paint, so it's very vibrant when the light hits it. Offers a lot of contrast for the markings and the puck. So after we get the white down, we put the lines, the blue lines, red lines, and we mark out measurements for the face-off circles, as well as our center ice logos and any other logos that we put in. This year we just did the Hockey East logos for now. That's all paint, colored paint, special kind of paint. You lay it down, it freezes instantly, and that process takes all day. Then the 2 Hockey East logos that you see out there are a vinyl mesh that we freeze in. I like 1 inch. I believe the industry standard is 1 1/4 inches. Keeping it at 1 inch allows the colors to be more vibrant when the ice is made. It also allows the refrigeration chillers to not work as hard. Thus, you're able to get a cooler, colder sheet that freezes more quickly, as opposed to having, let's say you had 3 inches of ice, and now the refrigeration underneath the floor has to work that much harder to draw that heat out. It's a heat removal process. It's not a cooling process so much as it's removing heat.
Great work by all involved to get this Olympic-sized ice sheet ready to go for the hockey season, which is getting underway. Well, it's time for our final break here on UMass Sports Insider, but on the other side, with the Big E recently in town, we got to thinking, what are some of the favorite carnival or fall festival foods that our student athletes enjoy? We think you'll share some of their same thoughts. Come on back with us.
This is the place where planets collide, where Pulitzer and Fulbright are full-time residents, where 28,000 brilliant young minds from 65 countries call home. This is the place that propels the state and lifts the world. UMass Amherst, this is the place.
UMass come back the other way. Here comes Hampton Bay getting the foul.
Handed layup is good.
Hampton Bay comes up with it. Wide open from the corner. It's McCormick for the win. It's good!
Welcome back. It's the final segment on UMass Sports Insider. There is always something special about the fall fair season, from the rides and the carnivals to specifically those delectable culinary concoctions that you can only find on the Midway. Well, this week on the lighter side, we decided to ask some of our student athletes, what's your favorite delicious treat at the fair?
Favorite festival food would have to be the funnel cakes, and adding vanilla ice cream to it is the best.
I'd say it's either funnel cake, fried Oreos, or cotton candy. So actually, I just had it yesterday or Saturday, and my favorite festival food now is fried Oreos.
You know, in Calgary we have the Calgary Stampede every year, and I'd probably say that I'm a big fan of probably a big juicy burger. That's just kind of the guy I am, all loaded up. So.
Probably just classic old hot dog with a lot of stuff on it, you know.
I would say fried Snickers. Definitely gotta go with fried dough. Gotta get that every time I go.
Going to Cedar Point in Ohio is probably, you know, the usual thing that a typical Toledo person would go, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
I'd say 1 funnel cake, 2 fried Oreos, and then cotton candy.
Oh, it's a sausage. It's a sausage dog. It's a sausage. Definitely a sausage.
Definitely a ketchup mustard guy. I'd take option on the relish. Sometimes tomatoes, always lettuce, onions for sure, and then those are the main components.
I feel like anything that's like a dessert is like friable. I don't understand fried ice cream. I've never understood how that works, but I've never had it. I heard it's really good. I'd love to try it, but that one doesn't make sense to me, but I feel like it is acceptable. But I feel like if you get outside of desserts or like maybe like normal like food, like wings and stuff, I feel like frying is just kind of like too much. Like you're doing too much.
Well, originally I'm Portuguese, so I like that side of like the fried dough, and then at the festival, like they let you throw the sugar and the powder on it, so I like a lot of sugar and powder, so I get to do it by myself.
Honestly, I haven't really had many from East Coast, but Ohio is probably one of the best, I can say, because Cedar Point really has good food, so.
Options. My other options were fried Oreos, so had some fried donuts. There was a burger with a donut bun. Should have tried that one, but fried Snickers won at the end of the day.
I mean, the regular ones were pretty great, but I would love to try some red velvet fried Oreos. I heard they were there. I was hunting them down, but I couldn't find them, so I had to settle. But I mean, regardless, the Oreo fried is still great.
I haven't. Maybe like the red velvet kind. I feel like that could be fine. I actually tried fried cheesecake the other day with one of our teammates, and it wasn't what we expected.
Oh man, I don't know. I know last year they had like a deep fried scorpion, and I would definitely not try that.
I am always up for some great fried food. I could use some funnel cake or fried dough after watching that. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of UMass Sports Insider, and thanks for watching our hockey season preview. Good luck to Coach Carville and his team as they get the campaign underway. We'll look forward to having you right back here for our next edition of the program. Until then, thanks so much for watching.